Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining us here on 13 Plus. I'm Mary Coleman. Happy Friday to all of you. Hope you've had a great week so far. Well, it's an unbelievable case of mistaken identity, and it almost cost a Phoenix woman $56,000. It all started when she was served with court papers regarding a lawsuit she never even knew about. Gary Harper has the details.
Well, we've all heard of a stolen identity, but this is more of a case of a mistaken identity. Now, this case has been going on for the last couple of years, but this viewer says she only recently found out about it. Anna Jolly lives in Phoenix, and in her spare time, she writes romantic comedy books. In fact, you can find them on Amazon under her pen name, Rebecca Rodarte.
I chose Rebecca because Rebecca is the name of Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca, Gothic novel. Rodarte is a fashion line, and so I thought, well, let's put the two together.
Rebecca Rodarte. Remember that name, and I'll tell you why. Back in June, Anna received this letter from a Phoenix attorney's office with a strange demand for money.
Come to my office with $56,000, or I'm going to go ahead and start garnishing your wages.
Anna chalked it up as a scam until she realized her employment checks were being garnished by that attorney. Turns out a company called Third Home, based out of Nashville, had sued Anna Jolly back in 2022 and actually won a judgment against her for $46,000 plus interest. It was a suit that Anna says she never knew about. Third Home is a luxury home sharing service where members can share their vacation homes around the world. And Third Home has a legal dispute with a woman named, you guessed it, Rebecca Rodarte, Anna's pen name.
The original summons went to a Rebecca Rodarte of Redwood City.
Court records show that the summons to a Rebecca Rodarte in Redwood City was never served, but a few days later, they attempted to serve Anna in Phoenix. A process server claims she was served, but Anna insists she never was, and the description the server gave in an affidavit doesn't even match.
The description that they gave was somebody who's 5'6", 5'4" to 5'6". I'm barely 5 feet.
They said she was 140 pounds and white. Anna is around 100 pounds and Hispanic. She says the Rebecca Rodarte described in court paperwork has a second home worth more than $500,000. Realizing some kind of mistake had been made, Anna went to a judge to fight the garnishment.
I said, here are all my tax returns. I can only ever be filing under my legal name. I have no rental property. You can check my income. I have nothing.
But her explanation fell on deaf ears because she already had that 2-year-old legal judgment against her. She could either pay the $56,000 or hire an attorney for an expensive legal fight in Tennessee to overturn that judgment.
It's been very emotionally distressing, and I'm filled with anxiety probably every day.
So Anna got a hold of On Your Side, and we contacted Third Home. We told them that Anna Jolly is not the Rebecca Rodarte they're looking for. At On Your Side's request, Third Home took a closer look at the details that we provided, and they agreed that they had the wrong Rebecca Rodarte. That means Anna is officially off the hook for that $56,000 debt.
So I can move on with my life. So 100% relieved.
Third Home has filed a motion to vacate their judgment against Anna in Nashville and is lifting the garnishment of her wages. In a statement to On Your Side, Third Home says, in October of 2021, Third Home discovered an egregious violation of the company's terms and conditions by one of its members, Miss Rebecca Rodarte, who has a history of business dealings in the southwest United States and south of the border in Mexico. They went on to say Third Home was able to review the matter and determined that while Miss Jolly has adopted Miss Rodarte's name, that Miss Jolly is not the same individual that violated the company's terms and conditions in 2021. Anna says it only happened after she contacted On Your Side.
Because I think you made that phone call to the company and started to investigate. I don't think I'd be in this situation right now where I'm just like, yes, thank you so much.
All right, obviously this viewer is thrilled that she won't be on the hook for that $46,000 plus interest, which really comes to $56,000. She says her only decision now is to decide whether or not she keeps her pen name or changes it. In Phoenix, I'm Gary Harper.
And to our second story for this evening, inflation has been one of the hot topics all across the nation since it hit some of its highest levels in 2022. Families were struggling with supply chain issues and the pandemic and just trying to make ends meet. Don G had a chance to speak with a credit protection agency to learn about what the combination of raising interest rates and elevated inflation can do to consumers along with their credit scores.
Inflation, interest rates, credit scores. As a consumer, you have to keep a watchful eye on what can affect your finances. We received huge news for U.S. families and businesses that the Federal Reserve cut interest rates for the first time since the beginning of the pandemic, and by 0.5 percentage point. This could really ease the strain and pain for families and businesses that they've been feeling for a while because inflation has hit everyone so hard in so many ways.
Your credit score is an important tool in making sure that you have access to the credit you deserve.
Your credit score is literally the key to unlock a chance for a mortgage, auto loan, credit cards, even a cell phone. It can also be used to determine the interest rate and credit limit you receive. It's a snapshot of just how much of a credit risk you may be to a lender at that point in time. Following the COVID-19 pandemic, inflation began to surge mid-2021. Many countries, including the U.S., saw their highest inflation rates in decades. Charlie Wise, Senior Vice President of Research and Consulting at TransUnion, says it was no longer just credit scores people were losing sleep over.
More consumers than ever are concerned about inflation. It's the real thing that's keeping them up at night.
With higher inflation and rising prices, many Americans are relying heavily on credit cards, according to Debt.com. In 2023, TransUnion's Credit Industry Insights report showed for the first time in history, consumers' credit card debt surpassed a record-breaking $1 trillion.
Things like gas, eggs, they're going to fluctuate. They always have. They'll go up, they go down. But things like dining out, things like what it costs for meat and paper towels and lots of other things that people buy every day, those are up and they're likely here to stay. Consumers need to get used to that, and they need to reset their expectations of what things cost.
Inflation does not directly affect your credit score, but rising costs on everything from insurance to pet food can alter your financial plan, which then has a direct financial impact to you and your family's well-being. There are things you can do to make ends meet when it comes to both inflation and building your credit score.
Consumers need to be savvy about shopping around. Make on-time monthly payments every month. It's keeping your credit utilization on your credit cards down, ideally below 10%, but really target below 30%.
You may have credit cards to help buy the things you need, but Wise points out interest rates on credit cards are the highest level that we have seen, perhaps ever.
Interest rates on credit cards, interest rates on their mortgage, on their auto loans, and these are all things that consumers can be thinking about, strategies for how do I get my interest rates down.
Inflation is expected to cool, but some prices are not going to change. That is called stayflation, meaning that high price is now the norm. Borrowing money for Americans is expected to be painfully expensive, but as we wait to see if things get better, remember, make your payments on time. That really boosts your credit score. Cut unnecessary spending until you feel financially comfortable again or inflation really is better. Find ways to save money on everyday items. And if you are having trouble paying a bill, don't ignore that creditor. Reach out and immediately make a plan. For those of us that have lived through the highest levels of inflation in more than 4 decades, we know inflation may not directly affect your credit score, but when your pocketbook is empty, inflation sure impacts your family's financial plans. Helping you make ends meet, I'm Dawn G.
Well, friends, we will leave you with a live look of the Tucson metro area. Check those stars out in the sky. It's looking gorgeous out there. Hey, as we've been telling you, it is going to be a warm weekend, so be sure to stay cool and stay inside even if you can. But we hope you have a great weekend overall. Be sure to join us for 13 News Live at 9 and 10. We'll see you later.